does not brood over injuries. Does not brood over injuries. How many of you remember when someone hurt you 10 years ago? You remember the time that you said, does not brood over injuries, and does not rejoice over wrongdoing. Wow, how many of you read the Inquirer? How many of you are just waiting to hear about someone who falls from power? How many of you take the time to share the stories of those who have collapsed, whether in the neighborhood or in the nation? Now, St. Paul says these 10 components make up love, and yet we seem as a group to be violating them all the time. We take great rejoicing when someone blows it, when someone makes a fool of themselves. We can't wait to get to the telephone. Did you hear what she did? Did you hear what he did? Now, St. Paul mentions these 10 things because not only do they ruin individual relationships if we don't abide by them, but they also ruin society. They also keep society in a constant state of anxiety and pain. We become incapable of true discussion because we run to rigid places in our lives and we refuse to hear. We refuse to share. We refuse to listen. When we get into a discussion with someone, we're not thinking about what the person says, but we're thinking already as they speak how we will refute them. And whether it's in a personal relationship with your husband or your wife or with your child, or whether it's a political discussion, or whether it's a religious discussion, we don't listen. And St. Paul says without these 10 things, it isn't love. And so we have to accord these things to every love relationship in our life, including, as Jesus says, to our enemies. There is no reason to be rude to an enemy. St. Paul goes on then and says, besides these 10 things, there's 4 other things. And these 4 other things are 4 actions that grow out of true love. He says, if it's true love, then you're able to bear all things. There's no exceptions. I can bear your goofiness. I can bear your foibles. I can bear it because my focus is not on my discomfort, but on my love for you. He says, true love then believes all things. So if I truly love you, I'll believe you. If I truly love you, I'll believe you. True love hopes all things. So there's that continual hope that you will change, that continual hope that the light will come on in your head, that continual hope that you will, in fact, embrace the way of Christ. And lastly, he says, true love endures all things. Look at the divorce rate. And yet, so many people read this scripture at their wedding. And then when they come in 3 years later, I like to read it to them again. We really need to get serious about this teaching, or we become the people of Nazareth again. And we drive from our midst everyone with whom we disagree. We drive from our midst everyone that makes us uncomfortable. We drive from our midst everything that keeps us from growing in love. And so I'm challenging you this morning to pick up this scripture reading and to place yourself in it and to ask yourself, does this describe my relationship with my wife and my husband? Does this describe my relationship with my parents? Children. One of these is translated differently. For children, it should be translated, and love never whines. So you can put that one in. Do these 10 components of love describe my relationship with the people that I live around, the people I associate with, the people I work with, and does it describe my relationship to those with whom I disagree? Does it describe my relationship with those that hate me? My friends, there's no political party, there's no economic system, there's no philosophy that is going to make the world a better place. None. Simply isn't there. This will. When each of us takes personal responsibility for our lives and tries to live these 10 components of love everywhere, the world will change and we will find peace. Now it's up to you and me. 13th chapter, the first letter to the Corinthians. Pick it up and read it. And hold your life up against it. Put your life in it. And if you work at that, you will find marital discord will pass. Discord between you and your adolescents will pass. Discord between you and your mother-in-law will pass. Discord between you and people of other political parties will pass. Discord will pass between you and those that you disagree with at all levels. Because we can have reasonable conversations, we can disagree in lovable ways, and we can come to understand that love is not some word from soap operas, but rather it's truly a way of life. 10 components of love and 4 actions that grow from those components. Read the first letter to the Corinthians, the 13th chapter. Ponder it and hold your life up against it. And the world will be a better place. Love is patient. So I'm almost done. Love is kind, so you can't tell me you're in a hurry. Love is not jealous. It is not pompous. It is not inflated. It is not rude, so you can't leave till I'm done. It does not seek its own interests. It is not quick to temper. It does not brood over injuries. And it does not rejoice over wrongdoing. Does that describe you and your relationships? The first letter to the Corinthians, the 13th chapter. It's our road to peace, to harmony, and to salvation. Be at peace.